Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is further confirming the breakout above this crucial level on the price chart, while in the immediate short term Bitcoin is getting extremely close to confirming a breakout above this important area of resistance, setting up new price targets, which I'll talk about in just a moment alongside my exact Bitcoin trading strategy, while Ethereum is also getting extremely close to breaking out from this new price pattern in the immediate short term, while the price of XRP has just now confirmed the breakout for this new bullish price pattern in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and currently the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have this massive bearish divergence to watch out for, which is still active and still influencing the price of Bitcoin on the larger timeframes, which means ultimately expect a lack in bullish momentum and a lot of weakness, at least for a period of weeks, likely a period of say 1 or 2 months as a very likely scenario. And so honestly, what is most likely going to happen over the next 1 month or so is basically a large sideways consolidation where we are seeing both short-term bullish and short-term bearish price action, but on the larger timeframes, not really moving all that much. Obviously still within the bull market, but taking a bit of a pause from the bull market is essentially what I'm saying, and what I'm predicting over the next month or so is a very likely scenario, kind of like what we saw roughly around mid-2024 could be likely over the next 1 month or so. But once again, that can also contain short-term bullish bounces, so keep that in mind. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously that's what we're now seeing, a short-term bullish bounce to the point where we are now breaking out above this previous line of support, which was acting as resistance and could now once again act as new support. And that's currently sitting at roughly 110,500, moving closer towards 111,000. And we've now seen 2 candle closes on the daily time frame above this line on the price chart, which is further confirming the breakout and basically starting to deviate, in other words, invalidate what we saw last time. Obviously, what we saw last time, we're seeing very similar price action right now to what we saw back here around early 2025, whereas this time around, obviously, we're breaking out back above the line, whereas last time we rejected from the line. So we're now once again starting to invalidate this fractal, invalidate history repeating, and potentially starting to flip a little bit more bullish again, at least just in the short term. But once again, this could potentially still be within a larger sideways price range. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, we can see that at least right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is getting extremely close to breaking out above this line of resistance here, this area of resistance sitting in between around 111.7k to 112k. And over the last week or so, this has been acting as strong resistance, perfect resistance for the price, where we've seen many perfect rejections from and struggles at this exact area. But we can see that time and time again, the moment we see a rejection, we ultimately come back up towards this area of resistance again to retest the area to ultimately try to play out this bullish divergence, considering at least for now the bullish divergence on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart is still currently active. So like I've been saying over the last week or so, we're trying to play out the bullish divergence, but simply running into resistance, causing a bit of choppy sideways price action like this, while the price is trying to play out a bullish relief, but we're getting stopped by resistance. But considering the higher lows in the price chart, at least as of right now, it is looking promising that we could soon break this resistance, because the longer we test this resistance like this, especially while we are continually forming higher lows, it is quite likely that very soon we could see a break of this resistance. And if that happens, obviously right now, as of recording the video, it's not yet confirmed, but if we confirm, for example, a 6-hour candle close, or especially a daily candle close above 112k, in that situation, that can ultimately just cause the bullish divergence to continue to play out further towards the upside in the short term, setting up new price targets. And the price targets will ultimately be levels of resistance to watch out for. First of all, we could find a small amount of resistance at roughly 113,500, but really the next major point of resistance I'll be watching is sitting in between around 115,500 to 116,000. In that area right there, based on these highs, that's really the next major price target in the immediate short term for the price of Bitcoin once we first break out above 112k and actually hold above that level. And currently I am already in a Bitcoin trade trade, taking advantage of this upcoming opportunity for the price of Bitcoin. And of course, that trading strategy is the same strategy that I've been sharing every day for over a week now on the channel, the current futures grid bot trading strategy. And this trading strategy is essentially betting on ultimately a bounce or some bullish price action happening, but it doesn't have to happen right this moment. So it's not like a long position where we kind of need the price to go towards the upside without seeing any major drawdown. This strategy can contain a major drawdown, like a 10%, 20% drop in the price of Bitcoin before even seeing a bounce. Or even if we don't see that drop, we could just see a bounce straight away. Either way, for as long as we ultimately see some sort of bounce or some sort of recovery in the price of Bitcoin, whether that's after a drop or not, this trading strategy will make money, is essentially what I'm saying. The only way it will not make money is if we basically just see a straight line towards the downside without any decent bounce or recovery. And so that has been my trading strategy over the last 1 week, in fact for over a week now, sharing here on the channel, and I'm still sharing the same trading strategy because you can see right here it is still working. Why change something when it's still making easy money for you? And if you want to, I will leave a link to this page right here in the description and in the pinned comment. In fact, the second link below the video will take you to this page where you can actually copy this trading strategy with a single click of a button if you want to. As always, not financial advice, no guarantees. I'm just simply sharing what I'm currently doing with my own money. But if you want to copy this exact trading strategy that I'm currently following myself, once again, it'll be the second link below this video. And in order to actually copy this trading strategy of mine, you have to make a Pinex account using the link below the video to actually make your account, because personally, I'm taking this trading strategy over on Pinex. So if you don't have a Pinex account, unfortunately, you won't be able to copy this trading strategy. So once again, first link below the video will take you to this page right here, where you could also claim some massive bonuses just by making a Pinex account using that link and completing KYC. You get a 50 USDT bonus, and also there's deposit bonuses here. So for example, if you deposit 100 USDT, you get a 100 USDT bonus onto your Pinex account, or if you deposit 10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. Basically free money from the exchange just by simply making an account using the link below the video, making deposits or completing KYC to claim these bonuses. But once again, if you don't use the link below the video, unfortunately, you won't be able to claim any of these bonuses here. And also, if you don't use the link below the video, unfortunately, you won't be able to copy this trading strategy. The copy button simply will not work. So once again, if you want to follow my trading strategy, links below the video. But that's basically an update on my trading strategy. Not a lot has changed over the last 1 day, but get ready. It is quite likely we could see a breakout in the short term very soon for the price of Bitcoin, especially due to the fact that in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we still have more liquidity building above the price of Bitcoin, at least compared to what we have towards the downside. We don't really have a lot of liquidity immediately below the price, but we do have, first of all, a small amount building at roughly around 112k, slightly above 112k, and also much more liquidity building at slightly above 114k, and a lot of liquidity at slightly above 116k. So basically expect those as price targets, kind of like magnets for the price of Bitcoin, pulling the price towards those areas as a very likely scenario here in the short term, which is another reason as to why we could likely see a breakout and a further bullish relief very soon for the price of Bitcoin. And so this is definitely the time in the market where you need to be set up, ready to go on one of those exchanges using the links below the video to take this trading opportunity as soon as it starts. As always, not financial advice, but of course, if you want to take long positions or short positions, more manual trades, personally for those type of trades, I also like to use 2bit. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, the third link below the video, it'll take you to this page right here where you could also claim massive bonuses. So you might as well take advantage of this if you're going to be trading crypto anyway. For example, up to 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses and 8,000 USDT in actual withdrawable stablecoins just by depositing and trading crypto using that link. And on top of that, without making any deposits or any trades, you can also get a 30 USDT trial fund bonus and 1 month free VIP3 upgrade. So basically very cheap trading fees and essentially free money from the exchange just by simply making an account using that link below the video without making any deposits or any trades. So once again, if you're going to be trading crypto or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well take advantage of this using the links below the video to take advantage of those major bonuses. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance on the daily time frame, and we can see that right now the Bitcoin dominance is ultimately still playing out the bullish divergence here, which means ultimately expect either a very slight bullish relief or potentially a little bit of choppy sideways price action in between from time to time. But overall, basically the same sort of price action that we've seen for the most part over the last 1 month, besides that crazy spike like here, is ultimately what I expect moving forward. Basically, what we've seen over the last 1 week is likely going to repeat a little longer for the Bitcoin dominance here in the short term, is what I expect expect right now. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now the price of ETH is still holding onto this area, acting as strong support, at least for now, sitting in between roughly 3.9k to 4.1k, but not a lot has changed on this chart over the last 1 day. So getting straight into the daily time frame, and right now we're still playing out the bullish divergence, which means ultimately expect most likely some choppy sideways price action or potentially a slight bullish relief as the most common outcomes, the most likely outcomes from a bullish divergence. And if we're taking a look at this 8-hour Ethereum price chart, we're still bouncing around relatively sideways in this sideways price range in between support and resistance. So first of all, we have this area of support still sitting in between roughly 37.20 to 37.60, and this area of resistance in between roughly 40.60 to 4.1k. So overall, obviously expect support at support, resistance at resistance, which means bouncing from support, rejecting from resistance. And so far, this is causing some choppy sideways price action in this sideways price range. And potentially over the next day or so, this could likely continue, but soon enough, the price could eventually break out, potentially very soon, from this new triangle pattern right here, a symmetrical triangle pattern, also known as a horizontal triangle pattern here on the 4-hour Ethereum price chart, because right now we have this descending line of resistance coming into play at roughly 39.70, so let's just call it 4,000. Ideally, we need to see a breakout above roughly 4,000 with candle closes above that level, at least on the 4-hour time frame, confirming above 4,000 in order to confirm a bullish breakout for this triangle price pattern. And of course, this line of support we need to pay attention to is sitting at roughly 3.8k. And so obviously, at least as of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed a breakout, but we are getting potentially very close, especially if Bitcoin breaks out. If Bitcoin breaks this area of resistance, that could increase the probability. In fact, it will increase the probability that we'll also see a breakout for Ethereum, because usually Ethereum and a lot of the major altcoins follow very similar price action to whatever Bitcoin is doing. And so if we're taking a look at the technical price target for this triangle pattern right here, if we first confirm the breakout, I want to make this clear, as of recording the video, we've not yet confirmed the breakout, but if we confirm the breakout above roughly 4,000, in that situation, that will set up a price target at above 4,500, a roughly 14 to 15% move towards the upside from the point of the breakout to the price target. So that could be a potential trading opportunity just waiting to happen. Once again, not yet confirmed, but if we confirm the breakout, that could potentially open up a long position opportunity to trade a bullish move towards this price target. And then in terms of taking profits, if I'm taking this trade, I'll be looking to take profits either around points of resistance or especially closer towards the price target, but not necessarily closing the entire trade at any one level. So for example, as always, not financial advice, but just as an example, if I were to enter a long position once we first confirm the breakout above roughly 4,000, I'd potentially take a small amount of profits at just under 4.1k, considering we could likely find some resistance around here, potentially take a little bit more profits at roughly 42.50. We could find some resistance around there, and then take a little bit more profits just before we reach that full price target. As always, just an example of the trading strategies that I usually follow myself. And in terms of a stop loss, of course, I would have a stop loss just below the point of invalidation in case we break out and then invalidate the trade. For example, if we break it above 4,000 and then see a break back below this line right here, back below roughly 39.70, give or take, with candle closes below that level, in that situation, that would invalidate the breakout, invalidate the pattern, and invalidate the price target. So in that situation, of course, I would have a stop loss below the point of invalidation, just to take a small loss and avoid further losses in the worst case scenario. And then if the trade moves further into profits, I'll slowly move the stop loss further into profits to basically secure profits even in the worst case scenario. Once again, that's just an example of a trading strategy here that could potentially start very soon, but once again, not financial advice, and even right now, it's not yet even confirmed. We need to actually wait for a confirmed breakout above this line to actually confirm this price target. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, Solana is still testing this area of resistance in the short term in between roughly 190 to 200. So still expect resistance around here. And if we break out above 200, expect more resistance at roughly $209, give or take, and a lot of support in between roughly 170 to 175. And if we're taking a look at the slightly shorter term here on the 8-hour time frame, ultimately we're still being influenced by this bullish divergence, but ultimately expect some choppy sideways price action or potentially very slight bullish relief as a very likely outcome outcome, basically just following very similar price action to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So especially if Bitcoin breaks out here, then we could likely see a short-term breakout above these highs for Solana and maybe start to move closer towards these highs at roughly $207 to $210, which we could likely find a lot of resistance around that area. But ultimately, just pay attention to my Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis to figure out what is likely going to happen for Solana moving forward. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the daily time frame, right now XRP is still playing out the bullish divergence, like I've been saying over the last 1 week or so, at least in the short term, causing a shorter term bullish relief as a very likely outcome from a bullish divergence. And right now, as of recording this video, we're now testing an important area of resistance in between roughly $2.60 to $2.70. So it's possible we could find some resistance around here, but if we see a further breakout, especially above $2.70, in that situation, we could potentially see a move up towards around $2.87, give or take, as a level to watch out for. But the next significant resistance is just above $3, around $3.10, give or take, if we see a strong breakout above $2.60 to $2.70. And so once again, right now that short-term bullish divergence is still active, still influencing the price of XRP. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 8-hour XRP price chart, we now have a new price pattern which has just technically confirmed over the last 1 to 2 days or so, which is of course a short-term inverse head and shoulders pattern. We already have a confirmed left shoulder, head and right shoulder, and also a confirmed breakout above the neckline, which was sitting at roughly $2.50. And so once again, it is important to understand that right now we could still find some resistance at roughly $2.60 to $2.70. But if we see this further breakout here, ultimately continuing the inverse head and shoulders pattern, we now technically have a bullish price target set up and in play for this price pattern right here, sitting at roughly $2.88 to $2.90. So just under $2.90 is now the next price target for XRP, which from the point of the breakout to that price target was potentially around a 15% move, or even from where we are right now as of recording this video to that price target, still around a 10% move towards the upside with no leverage, or for example a 10x leverage long position, around a 100% profit in this example. But once again, not financial advice, and of course, don't forget areas of resistance. It's possible we could still struggle around $2.60 to $2.70, for example. But if we see a breakout, especially above $2.70, and start holding above that level, in that situation, expect to move closer towards around $2.90, just under $2.90 as the next major price target. But so far, of course, on the daily XRP price chart, even though we are playing out a shorter term bullish relief, we have not fully confirmed a trend reversal out of this bearish trend. So just keep that in mind, at least for now. We're still seeing lower highs, lower lows, which is ultimately bearish price structure. But like I've already been saying here in the short term over the last week or so, it is very likely that just in the short term for the coming days or maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks, we could likely see a continued short-term bullish relief. So ultimately expect that to continue to play out here in the short term. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a similar situation for Chainlink as what I just said for XRP, still technically within a bearish trend, but just in the shorter term during the trend, we're most likely going to see a little bit more of a relief from all of the bearish price action. So that means either a slight bullish relief or maybe just some choppy sideways price action, basically a bit of a break from the bearish price action, but not yet fully confirming a reversal completely out of the trend. And so for example, I would essentially compare what we're seeing right now to what we saw, let's just say around late September, early October, as a very likely scenario moving forward. Most likely a little bit more of a relief for Chainlink and other crypto assets, at least in the short term, but not yet fully confirming the end of this trend. And in terms of support and resistance to watch out for, we have a lot of support in between 1520 to 1570 and some more support at around 1720 to 1740, give or take, and a lot of resistance in between roughly 1950 to $20. And once again, this short-term bullish divergence is still currently active, which means continue to expect a little bit more of a relief as a very likely scenario in the immediate short term for the price of Chainlink. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can take these trades, like what I'm currently doing to make easy money in the crypto market, make sure to check out these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.